Okay, we are going to take a look at solving linear inequalities. And if you remember from Algebra 1, this is a pretty similar process to solving linear equations. So we're going to go ahead and just treat that inequality symbol like it's an equal sign for now, and then we'll kind of deal with that at the end. So here for question 1, we're going to start by combining those like terms on the right-hand side. So this will be a negative 15 is less than or equal to n minus 5n will be a negative 4n plus 1. Then we're going to want to move this 1 over. So that'll be a negative 16 is less than or equal to negative 4n. And then we can go ahead and divide by negative 4. Now, when we're solving inequalities, something special happens when we're dividing by a negative. Division by a negative flips this inequality symbol. So negative 16 divided by negative 4 is positive 4. That inequality symbol switches to greater than or equal to n. We're going to see something similar here in question 2. So you're going to see that again. Negative 6x minus 5x is negative 11x is less than or equal to 11. And then we divide by negative 11. So just like in the last example, we're dividing by a negative. We're moving it to the other side by dividing. So it's going to be x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Again, flipping that sign because we divided by a negative. So just like with solving equations, the inequalities can involve things like the distributive property that we're going to see here in questions 3 and 4. So in question 3, I lost my pen here, you're only going to distribute that negative 5. So 3 and then negative 5 times 1 is going to be minus 5. And then negative 5 times negative 2b will be a positive 10b is greater than or equal to, 10 plus 7b. And then we can go ahead and combine our like terms over here. So that's going to be a negative 2 plus 10b is greater than or equal to 10 plus 7b. So then we want to get those b's together. I'm going to subtract the 7b, again, just to keep that variable term positive. So negative 2, 10b minus 7b is going to be plus 3b. It's greater than or equal to 10. And then I'm going to move this 2 over. So adding 2 is going to leave me with 3b is greater than or equal to 12. And then I can divide both sides by 3. So when I do that, I end up with b is greater than or equal to 4. Again, our inequality sign does not flip here because I was dividing by a positive 3. So it's only division by a negative that flips that sign. Okay, over here in question 4, I'm going to distribute my negative here. So that's going to be a negative 1 plus 3v is greater than or equal to 3v plus 3. So here, what's going to happen is I'm going to move this 3v over. But when I do that, 3v minus 3v is 0. 3v minus 3v is 0. So I end up with negative 1 is greater than or equal to 3. So at this point, I have no variables left. And anytime that happens, where all of your variable terms cancel like they did here, and you just have a number and a number on either side, this is kind of a special case. If the statement is true, that tells us that our solution is all real numbers. If the statement is false, that tells us that we have no solution. Again, this is our symbol here for all real numbers. So that would mean that any number we plug in for v here is going to give us a true statement. If the statement is false, that means that any number we plug in for v here is going to give us no solution, or it's going to give us a false statement. So here, if we look at what we're left with, negative 1 is greater than or equal to 3. We want to think about, is negative 1 actually greater than or equal to 3? Well, no, negative 1 is smaller than 3. So because this is a false statement, that tells us that we have no solution. Okay, we have 2 more examples here. This time we're going to distribute on both sides. So in question 5 here, that's going to look like negative 5n plus 40 is greater than -1 plus 2n minus 22. So just like in the last couple, any like terms within each side get combined. So this is going to be a -5n plus 40 still on the left. And then on the right, we can combine the -1 and the -22. So it'll be a -23 plus 2n. Then we can get our variable terms together. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5n to both sides. So on the left, we have a 40 is greater than. On the right, that'll be a -23 still. And then 2n and 5n will be 7n. Then I can go ahead and add 23 to both sides. And so then when I do that, I'm going to end up with a 63 on the left is greater than 7n. And then I'm going to take 63 and divide it by 7. And so that's going to give me 9 is greater than n. So one more over here. This time we're only distributing once. We have 8n plus 13 is less than or equal to. Distributing 8 over here, that's going to be an 8n. And then 8 times 12 will give us a 96. And then minus 9. So then I can go ahead and combine my like terms on the right. So I have 8n plus 13 on the left is less than or equal to 8n plus 96 minus 9 will be 87. So then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8n from both sides. That's 13 is less than or equal to 87. Again, similar to question 4 right above this, my variable terms cancel on both sides. So I just have a constant and a constant. So this is a case where I need to think about, okay, is this a true or a false statement? So 13 is less than or equal to 87. That's true because 13 is smaller than 87. So because it's true, that means that I have all real numbers. And we can use the symbol or we can write out all real numbers. Okay, so you have some examples to go off of. Your homework assignment for tonight is going to be the Inequalities Worksheet 1, and then you'll submit that either through scanned or photo to Schoology.